We start with some politics. And the National Democratic Congress, they postponed their presidential and parliamentary primaries from this very weekend to the 1st of November. And this follows petitions from some members of the NDC that the party's voters register currently is bloated. And the General Secretary of the NDC, Johnson Esiedun Ketia, has been explaining details of the postponement to the media.
Having gone through the deliberations, we came to a conclusion that the elections would be postponed from 7th September to 21st, 7th November to 21st of November. We have come to this conclusion because our timetable appeared a little more ambitious than it has, we anticipated. So, in implementing the timetable, we came to some difficulties which required that the timetable should be adjusted. For instance, we adjusted the timetable by about 1 week to cater for the extension of the nomination period in Ashanti region, for instance. And again, we had to adjust the timetable for some additional days, about 4 or 5 days, to take care of during the vetting because of some difficulties. Now, after that, we realized that where we stand now, we are almost through with all our vetting and matters arising out of the vetting. We are left, the register is on the field for exhibition, and we have taken reports about how that is going today. We are left with the printing of our ballots by the Electoral Commission, liaising with the national, security, the state security apparatus about their deployment on the voting day, the exhibition of election notices indicating the order of faces, the number of people who have been approved to contest, who have been cleared to contest in each constituency, and their order on the ballot paper, and so on. So we've done a computation about the time that is required, and we have come to the conclusion that the election can be held on the 21st of November 2015.
The editor of the Ghanaian Times newspaper, Dave Agbanu, is asking the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Al-Hassan, to expedite investigations into the accident that led to the death of Ghanaian Times reporter Samuel Nyama. In August this year, a bus conveying the presidential press corps from Ho to Accra skidded off the Dawenya-Accra road, killing Mr. Nyama on the spot. Several other journalists were also injured in the incident. 2 months after the accident, Mr. Dave Agbanu says he's yet to gain closure on the matter.
I appeal to the IGP to ask his men to expedite action on the accident report of Samuel Nyama. I'd wanted to, IGP was supposed to be here, and I'd wanted to appeal to the IGP directly. But since he wasn't here, and this COP and Pembani came, I made the appeal through him to IGP to expedite action.
What exactly do you seek to achieve by this appeal?
Well, I remember when the accident occurred, the police promised that they were going to conduct an investigation into the accident. And it's only natural that we know the outcome of the investigation. Indeed, we will come to a complete closure if we knew the cause of the accident.
It's been more than a month since the accident. What have you heard so far from the police, investigations and all that?
Nothing. That's why I made that appeal.
Or anything that they are delaying in giving out their results?
Not so much, but I'm just sending a message to the IGP that it should be done. I don't know the procedure, I don't know the structures, how they conduct investigations to this matter. So I cannot say they are delaying or not, but just that I want to remind the IGP that we are still waiting for the report.
Well, Dave Agbenu is the news editor for the Ghanaian Times. The National Health Insurance Authority is planning to deploy its staff to some health facilities across the country from next month to check claims by subscribers that they are discriminated against. NHIS subscribers have consistently complained they are either sidelined at health centers or don't enjoy the best of health care because their present NHIA cards are currently on the expiration. Officials of the authority say the staff who will be stationed will assist card holders get better care. Hannah Odame has a lot more.
NHIA subscribers have for a while now complained that health workers look down upon them when they show up at the country's hospitals and would rather give priority to fee-paying clients. In some instances, subscribers have been turned away entirely because of government's indebtedness to the health facilities. At a workshop to disseminate findings of a research by the Noguchi Memorial Institute on the sustainability of the NHIA, lead researcher Dr. Edward Nketiah-Mponsa said discrimination was the topmost complaints by subscribers.
Issues regarding, drug stock or non-availability, functional relationship with healthcare providers, the attitude of staff, nurses, the fact that they are not provided feedback, the fact that the benefits package of the National Health Insurance Scheme is not even well spelled out. So the policyholders thought that they were giving inferior services relative to those who were paying out of pocket.
Dr. Nketiah-Mponsa highlighted some interventions such as post-care interviews and community engagements to address the complaints, which have been quite successful. He says it will make a huge difference if the NHIA could replicate it across the country.
We have strongly suggested that we could replicate it because it's quite cost-effective. You don't need to commit so much resources. But I also forgot to mention that we introduced another dimension of the intervention in 6 of the facilities, which was more involving in terms of the cost, what we call My Care.
The NHIA's Deputy Director of Corporate Affairs pledged the authority will consider the recommendations. Adelaide Akowa Bonatel tells Joy News the deployment of staff to hospitals is an initiative that has been in the works for some time now.
We are going to work in collaboration with the providers, and in case you go to a facility and the nurse was not nice to you, if you have to wait for a long time, our staff is going to find out why you were waiting. Didn't they have a doctor? Whatever the issue is. So these are issues that we are going to be on the ground to help address.
When is the starting?
We are hoping by the end of the year.
Which is like a month away.
It's a month away, yes. It's very ambitious, but we've been thinking about this for a while.
For Joy News, my name is Hannah Odame.
There's been a significant increase in partnerships between Ghanaians and non-Ghanaian businesses since the introduction of the Think Ghana campaign by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, the GIPC. And the campaign was introduced to boost domestic direct investment, and according to the GIPC, it has since made tremendous progress. Speaking to Joy Business at this year's Made in Ghana Awards organized by the Entrepreneurs Foundation of Ghana, Chief Executive of the GIPC, Mawina Treba, said there has been an increase in registered local businesses as a result of the current campaign.
This year, right up until the third quarter, we've continued to see a steady increase in foreign direct investment inflows. We believe that is as a result of taking a targeted view of promoting investments in the country. We've gotten very specific about the kinds of projects. We've gotten very much clearer on the kind of information that is relevant for the business community. So we're presenting specific projects, specific locations, clear indication of the feasibility study studies, market research, initial capital requirements, all of the things that make it easy for an investor to take a decision to invest, and making sure that we showcase it to the Ghanaian business community as well as the international business community. We believe those things have helped us to sustain increased investment inflows, even in spite of some of the challenges that we have. And I think that reinforces the message that the business community is really looking to Ghana for the medium to the long term.
31 awards were presented during the Made in Ghana Awards to businesses which excelled in packaging products, innovation, service quality and standards in 2014. Jospon Group was awarded Business Group of the Year. The Ultimate Award, Industrialist of the Year, went to the Executive Director of the Muhinani Group, Ashok Muhinani.
I think it's very humbling, considering we had so many captains of industries here. So I'm truly humbled by this award, I mean, nothing is ever easy. You've got to work hard to get there. I guess there are many challenges, but in all the adversities, you've got to figure out how to overcome it. And I guess that's the reason why we're here. I mean, it's not easy. Manufacturing it certainly requires a lot of power, but I guess, you know, the signals were already on the wall and the warnings were there. So we've got to figure out alternative sources. And yes, it's tough, but we're managing.
Best Brewery Company Year Under Review went to Root Extra, Financial Service of the Year, Fidelity Smart Account, and Life Insurance Company went to SIC Life, among others.
We'll have to say congratulations to the Muhinani Group as well as the Jospon Group of companies for those awards they won over the period. Meanwhile, tax consultant and lawyer Ali Nachia says government can go ahead with a plan to review tax concessions granted to businesses in the 2016 budget. Well, there are fears that if government goes ahead with a move, it could affect Ghana's efforts to attract investment. But Mr. Nachia disagrees.
If you look at investments and you try to find out what are the factors that drive investment, I don't think tax becomes the key determinant for somebody to invest. The first an investor will look at is infrastructure. Is there stable power? Are there road networks? Would I get reliable water supply? 2, is the economy politically stable? Would my investment not be jeopardized when there is any uprising, mishap or disturbance? 3, the investor may want to look at what is the macroeconomy like. Do they have a strong currency? Do they have a big market? Can I market my goods and services and get returns for my investment? What is the lending rate? Am I able to access facilities? They look at what is the judicial system. Can I get redress efficiently, effectively, and quickly so I continue with my business? I'm going to spend all my other working business life in court. Once these are okay for them, they are good to come in. Tax is on profit, so it is pro or after the business, not before. So when you are giving incentives, nobody is advocating that all incentives should be scrapped, but the incentives that are not giving the desired results cannot remain in place. For example, you give an incentive to a sector hoping it will drive the prices of that sector down to grow business in that sector, to increase GDP, create jobs. If that is not being achieved, why would that incentive still remain? You may have to review it.
Meanwhile, Joy Business has learned that there are some areas that might be affected by the proposed review, including operations of the free zones companies and imported raw materials, as well as restricting the power to grant exemptions if need be. We'll have to move on to the subject of customs and their plans to transform the Customs Excise and Preventive Service Academy at Kpatoa in the Volta region into a revenue university. Officials say the academy is at the moment undergoing a facelift to meet required standards.
The Commissioner General for the Ghana Revenue Authority, George Kumsin, made this known at the graduation parade for basic and paramilitary personnel of the Kpatoa SEPS Academy. He stated that required courses and programs in revenue mobilization are also being reviewed in readiness to establish one of the best revenue universities in West Africa. He further highlighted that revenue mobilization is crucial to the country's development, hence the need to strengthen the country's revenue mobilization machinery.
We know that in our bid to develop the country faster, revenue is essential. it's a sine qua non for faster development. If we aspire as a country for lives that will be improved, enhanced living for our population, and for transformation of the country, then revenue mobilization should not only continue, but also should be done with greater efficiency and effectiveness in the years ahead. And that responsibility falls on you standing here.
However, Mr. George Blankson urged entrants into the customs service to disabuse their minds of certain myths.
The learning and training you have received here is great, but it's not enough. When you are out and you are on the field, you should continue reading the law, learning from the senior officers you have met, who have a reservoir of experience accumulated over a period, and you can benefit from to improve yourself.
51 senior cadets graduated from the academy, out of which 7 received awards for best performance during the training. Senior cadet David Mensah was adjudged the all-round best trainee. A report by Fred Kwame Asare, Joy News.
So officials say that the academy is currently undergoing a lot more facelift to meet required standards. And that'll be it for the news. But for many of you experiencing difficulties as far as in reception or transmission of the programming on your multi-TV digiboxes, please make sure you don't temper. It's a technical difficulty we're experiencing with our service providers. Currently, it's being worked on. And very soon, I'm sure you'll have a lot more reception and clarity in pictures as far as the transmission is concerned. And so we'll be with you a lot more. But we're taking a break. When we come back, we're looking at what the stories are on the front and back pages of their newspapers. We know they've been summarized on the news portal, myjoyonline.com. We'll also take a look at some other major stories getting a lot more prominence on some of those news portals we can find in our country and elsewhere. Do stay on.